Hello, America. This is Robert Reese on the CEO Show, and we're here today with Lou Shapiro. How are you, Lou?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Great. And that's because I am with you, who is the CEO of HSS, and out of 5,000 hospitals in America, none is like HSS. Talk exactly what the model is.
There's a couple of things that make HSS distinctive from other healthcare organizations across the country. The first is we are the largest healthcare organization in the United States that only takes care of people with musculoskeletal conditions. The audience would think of that as things that are orthopedic related, things that enable people to live life to their fullest through movement. So we're the largest of its kind.
And the first as well, founded in 1863.
Yep. Been around for 155 years. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we've earned the reputation of being the leader in our field. And there's many different ways to measure that. One way is organizations that rank them, and there's a conventional ranking organization, U.S. News and World Report, ranks hospitals and has a robust methodology. We've been ranked number one for 9 years in a row. I think the third reason why we're unique is that we have a culture in the organization that causes us to be very high performers, and regardless of what level of performance we've accomplished and position that we've earned in the industry, we are eternally unsatisfied with where we are, and we think there's an ability to do more and better. And that's a culture that permeates the organization from every part, regardless of what the role is. So I think those are the things that put us in a class by ourselves.
Okay, so let's go into that. What is it that you want to achieve then? If you're already in the number one position and you're unsatisfied, what does the next level look like?
So we are motivated by being better. And this word better is sort of the foundation of our strategic plan. How do we get better at what we do? Better.
In everything.
There's no,
and every individual as well as aggregately.
Well, we're an academic organization, so we teach and we do research and we innovate the future. But at the core, we take care of patients. By no stretch of the imagination are we perfect at anything we do. With everything we do, there's an opportunity to improve our performance for the people who need us. And the people who need us are the people who are receiving care from us and the people who are helping pay for the care that those people are receiving. That could be the federal government, or it could be employers as well as consumers.
And actually, orthopedics is the fastest growing and most expensive for any major large company for CEOs.
Yeah, if you look at the healthcare spend of large employers, musculoskeletal orthopedics is always in the top three. Oftentimes it's one, but it could be second to a couple of other different specialties. But it's high. It's at the top of the list. It's among the fastest growing, and it's probably one of the areas where there are the most opportunities for them to get more value out of what they're spending. Maybe spend less and certainly get more value out of it.
And I'm thinking if you're a top executive and you need to make sure they're better, you want to get it right. So now I'm going to challenge you, because you said you always want to get better, and you mentioned U.S. News and World Report, and I did the research on this, and I'm on some hospital boards, so I see it. And number 2 in America in orthopedics is the Mayo Clinic, and their score was 83. And when you look down to like number 6, their scores are in the 60s. 80, no, 81. They're still great. Your score was actually 100, which is, I think it's like unprecedented that someone gets an actual score of 100 and is 19 points higher than number 2. Now, you're saying, Lou, you want to get better, but you're already at 100. How do you do that?
So just to be transparent, anyone who's ranked number 1 is 100.
Oh, there you go.
That's the index. That's
okay.
The index.
Oh, so you're automatically the highest. So so you ain't that good then.
Yeah. Right. We're not good enough.
There you go. But okay,
we're not good enough.
So what are, as leader of this organization, and you've been, and the official name is Hospital for Special Surgery.
Correct. Hospital for shorthand HSS.
Shorthand HSS. And what is the website if anyone right now wants to go to it?
hss.edu.
Okay, that's good. So let's talk about your leadership philosophy here. You became CEO in 2006. And now you've been here. What is it you're proudest of that you've done? And I sort of have a sense, because I know about the name recognition, what it was, and where it is globally now. But talk about where HSS was when you became CEO and what you've done to get better and better.
So I think there was a couple questions there. But let me first answer what I'm most proud of. I'm a believer in the concept that's associated with purpose-driven organizations. Like, what's the purpose of the organization? Not so much what it does, but what is its purpose? And we have articulated a purpose in the organization that is inspirational and aspirational, and one that has been internalized by, perhaps not everyone, but by, I think, a significant part of the organization. And our purpose is to help people get back to what they need and love to do better than any place in the world. And that's our purpose. It's very, very clear. If we don't fulfill that purpose, then we don't have any purpose. And then, how do you create a culture in an organization where people, regardless of their role, buy into that and believe that and feel that and live that each and every day? And it's not rocket science. It's hard work and a lot of blocking and tackling, and the way I try to articulate it is that there's a phrase I use: leadership by all.
Leadership by all.
Leadership by all. Everyone's a leader regardless of your role. We're all the same. We do different things when we come to work, but we're all leaders. It doesn't matter if you're a surgeon, if you're responsible for discovering the next way to treat rheumatoid arthritis, or whether you're keeping the place clean, or whatever your role is. Everyone's a leader. Without everyone being a leader, regardless of their role, it's not humanly possible to fulfill that purpose, right? Because it's not better than any place, and it's not meant to be an arrogant statement of better than any place in the world. That's our purpose. There's no point of having an organization like HSS in a city like New York City that has the privilege of focusing on one thing, and instead of, like many healthcare organizations, have to focus on all different kinds of disease conditions, unless you can be the best in the world at that. So I think we're on the journey to create that culture that fulfills that purpose.
And let's, on that note, we're going to take a break. Remember, be aspirational and inspirational. When we come back with Lou Shapiro of HSS, we're going to talk about how do you get a whole culture to become aligned in that purpose where everyone is a leader. And then we're going to talk about the future of healthcare and how we can improve it in America. Back in a few. Hi, this is Robert Reese on the CEO Show, and we're here today with Lou Shapiro, who is the CEO of HSS, which stands for Hospital Special Surgery. And it is the #1 rated hospital in America. It is the largest in orthopedics. And we're talking about your culture. So you've over 5,000 people, and you've some physicians who are some of the most skilled, the smartest, and you've people at every different level. But you're talking about getting people to be a leader. Do you have any unique practices you do to get everyone together where you say, oh, lunch with Lou, or you do town hall meetings, or they do individual meetings? How do you actually accomplish getting everyone to be a leader? Any unique things that are done at HSS?
Yeah. So I don't know if they're unique or not, but I'll tell you, generally speaking, what we do. And like I said before, I don't think it's rocket science. I think it's just hard work, and you first have to believe it's important. And if you believe it's important, then you have to authentically act like it's important in all of your activities. And the way I describe it, there's 3 or 4 parts of this. One is you need to recruit people. Obviously, we are recruiting people who have the skill level they need to be in a place like that. That's a given.
Or they wouldn't be without the skill.
That's a given. But you are recruiting people who have the behavioral characteristics where they could buy into that kind of organizational mission.
I just want to stop you there. How do you know when you're interviewing a senior executive if they have those behavioral characteristics?
Well, it's not just a senior executive.
It's everyone. Because everyone is a leader.
It's a surgeon. It's a scientist. It's a nurse. It's a physical therapist. It's a housekeeper. It doesn't matter. It's qualitative. Mm-hmm. It's at least for us. It's qualitative. And you are listening for the stories they tell about their experiences and what's important to them. And if someone's telling me what I did as opposed to what we did, as an oversimplified version of that, they're going to be less oriented to teamwork than they need to be. And the only way we can do what we do here, just like any. Like many other, there's many analogies you can use sports teams, right? So you could have great individual players, but if they don't play well as a team, they're going to lose. So we got to hire the right people. And then the second thing is how we onboard them into the organization. What happens from the day they start through, we generally look at it as the first 3 or 4 months because if you don't bring them into the organization the right way, and if you tell them one thing and do another, then they become cynical, right? And then it's
that is a brilliant point. That's how cynicism happens, and that becomes cancer throughout the organization.
Yeah. And once you get that wrong, it's game over. So the onboarding process begins with. And depending on the group, it may be a little different. So surgeons may be different than the masses of the organization. So I'm talking about the masses of the organization. First day orientation, I show up and I talk to them about what they signed up for. Making sure they understand that they are a leader and that they're continually going to become better. Yeah, and this is the kind of organization they signed up to join. So if anyone isn't up for that kind of challenge, they picked the wrong place, right? Now, everyone knows that, people study the organization, and as soon as they get an offer letter, they watch a video from me where I reinforce the message. Then we have orientation. 20 different people come and talk to them, but I always talk to them. We probably have 50 to 100 people joining the organization a month, and that's net new growth in our workforce as well as some some turnover. So and I very rarely do I miss one of those. So the onboarding process is important. What happens during the first 3 months? At the end of the 3 months, we invite them back for. At the end of 3 months, we invite them back for a breakfast meeting, and we say, okay, when you started, this is what we told you. Tell me about your experiences during the first 3 months. And they give us, ideas about things that could be improved. But more importantly, at that time, it's to remind them of our purpose and their role as leaders. Then this is the real hard work begins, which is you got to walk the talk. Everything that you do in the organization needs to reinforce that you mean what you say. So do these individuals know what's expected of them? Do they get feedback? Do they have the tools and equipment to do their job? Does someone care about their growth and development? Does their opinion count? And that's about creating a work environment that checks off those boxes, and then we measure to that. We do a employee engagement survey every 1 to 2 years where we have over 85% participation, where we measure that, and we see where we're doing that well and where we're not, and where we aren't doing it as well as we should. We go into those work units with the leaders of those work units and work to improve. It goes back to being better, and just continually do that.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left, and I want to tell you on that story you said, it's obvious to me why your net promoter score, for anyone listening, 95. That's a 9 out of 5. I don't think anyone in your industry is even close to that. But we've only 2 minutes left. So I want to ask you about, in the future of healthcare, what are the different ways to deliver high-value healthcare? Are there more than one ways, just one way? What's the future of healthcare with that?
So I've been working in the industry for 35 years. There's more change going on now than any point in my career. So I don't think we're really going to know the answer to that question until it's 5 years from now and we look back. But having said that, there's something to be said about our model of healthcare, which is a condition specialty organization.
And you've 1 minute left.
Right? Do one thing and do it better than anyone else. And looking at the whole continuum, how in our field do we keep people healthy? There's a lot of knowledge that we have that we can help people stay healthy and not need us. And then when they do need us, that we get it right the first time, we deliver care in the right environment, that we avoid anything going wrong that shouldn't go wrong, or minimize things that go wrong, and getting them back home as quickly as we can, getting them back to work, getting them back to their highest level of performance. The whole healthcare life cycle, the word that we use is creating an ecosystem focused on people's musculoskeletal health.
And there you have it. We've been speaking with Lou Shapiro, the CEO of HSS, the highest ranked by any measure in the entire hospital industry. A great pleasure having you on the CEO show.
My privilege. Thank you very much.